Hey everyone, welcome back to I Totally Love It. This is Susan, and in today's episode, I'm working on episode 8, you guys, 8 of Junk Journal Sketches. So, as you can tell, it has some Christmas paper out. Let's look at the sketch I've selected for this episode. This is from, once again, Page Maps, but this is from their Card Maps archives. This is from October 2022. And so it's pagemaps.com if you want to go check them out. And if you're new here, this is all about taking these junk journal, well, start over, scrapbook sketches or scrapbook layouts, or even these card making layouts, and turning them into something we can use in our junk journal to use up some of our stash, because I'm sure you're like me and you maybe have quite a bit that you need to use. And so, since it is 2 days after Thanksgiving here in the States, I am focusing a lot more when I can on Christmassy things. And so I thought I would make this design. It looks like this is just the front of a card, like a greeting card. However, I think I'm going to turn this into a pocket. And this will be obviously the flap that comes down. And back here they have stitching. I'm not going to do stitching because if you've been here, it's sitting over to my right. It's just decoration right now. It needs some fine tuning. And then, so this will be one, this white part where the stitching is will be the back of this paper that has the dots. That'll be the flap. And then this will be a whole separate paper where we'll put our pocket. Then we'll put something on as a closure. Now, if you have the Velcro dots, this would be a great way to use Velcro dots, but I don't. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this embellishment down lower so that the flap can just tuck in that. And then you can add a sentiment there. Now they have it stitched in. I obviously won't be doing that. So let me show you what paper I've chosen. These two pieces, they've come out of Park Lane, which is available at Joann. This is the New Traditions. I got it last year, so 2022. So I started with this one. Now this one is directional, which means, it's going to be upside down if you turn it around that way. But I like this paper. But if you don't pay attention to what you're doing, your flap, and you try that's going to be my flap. But if I have it this way, and when it comes down, the deer are going to be upside down. So what you want to do is start with your paper upside down. So the flap comes like this, and then the deer are correct in the trees and everything. So this is going to be the back and the flap. Now, yes, these deer are going to be upside down. However, you're not going to see a ton of that because this is going to be the pocket part. So that's just going to be, the red is just going to be the border. So like I said, not a ton of that is going to be seen. And then this was the other side. I thought about that, but I figured that's really busy. And then this is really more of a good match to me. So then for embellishments right now, what I've chosen are these from Michael's that I picked up this year. That's what they are. So I'm thinking maybe one of these perhaps for the closure. That would be really cute to replace the cranberries or the pine cones. But I want it to be the closure. If I had Velcro dots, I could totally probably use one of those. But I think I'm going to use the circle. We'll see when we get there. So I'm going to put this on fast forward. I'll try to throw some measurements on the screen for you. And then I'll come back at the end and we'll talk about what has been made. All right, so sit back, relax, enjoy some tunes, and let's get cracking. All right, everyone. I went ahead and just wrote down the measurements. So for the pocket base, if you want to pause this, you can. I did 3.5 inches wide, and of course the paper was 6 by 8 originally. And so typically your like tags and stuff are twice the height that they are the width. Um, but I wanted to fold it down, plus I wanted to have the border on the edge. So I, went a little off base there with the, traditional measurements. So I went 3.5 inches wide with the pocket base, and paper was originally 8 inches tall before I folded or trimmed it. And then I just used okay, so originally I punched a circle out of my biggest punch, which I think is 3 inches. And that was just too small. Um, Obviously, I didn't think about, the measurement. So then I reached over and had these. I made a perfect curve. Now in the original design, they have it kind of scalloped. So if you have some sort of stencil that you can trace to do that, then do that, or maybe even a die cut. Or you could even put doily. Or you could just round your corners. Uh, Anyways, back to measurements. And so it was 8 inches tall, and then of course I trimmed it, folded it, and then now it's 5.5 inches tall by 3.5 inches wide. And the pocket front is 2 3/4 inches wide and 4 3/8 inches tall. You do have a little more room there if you want to go a little higher. I was trying to trim it on the line with the paper itself. Could have gone a little wider, maybe even 3 inches, or even 2 7/8, just a little bit more. But I was kind of going for halfway through that piece there. So you can always, trim it bigger and then cut it down and get it to more the size you want, trial and error kind of thing. And then the circle punch here was a 1.5 inch punch. And I went ahead and did the faux stitching. Since they have stitching, I thought, well, I could do faux stitching. And I tried these circles that were in here, but good Lord, they took up like the whole thing. I wouldn't have had room for a huge sentiment down here. And I kind of wanted to use the joy with the deer. I mean, this has deer on it as well, but and then it just kind of was missing something there. So I just looked through my button collection and found a button that I thought went well with it. You could have done a gold button too. But I like it's a floating pocket, which means you could do like a tip in. It could just stick inside of another pocket. You could glue it down if you wanted to, and make another pocket in the back, or a side tuck or something like that. I feel like I need to go back and glue that. I want to trim this off right there. It's bothering me. So let's trim that. I could have left it, but it was sticky. So, all right. So now it bothers me that I trimmed it. Just kidding. All right. I had to pause there. I laughed myself into a cough. So, there we go, friends. There's episode 8. You don't have to make it Christmassy at all. This could be a little layout you use over and over again to add to your creations. It's a great way to use the two-sided scrapbook papers that we have. And just remember, if it's directional, you want to start with it upside down so it comes over that way. But I have a pocket there. I don't have anything in it. You could put your journaling in there. You could put your Christmas wish list in there. Whatever memory or creation you want to put in there. All right, guys, I appreciate you and your time. If you haven't already liked the video, please consider doing so. It sure helps my channel grow. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell so you can get all those notifications for when I put out more content. I'm loving this series. So if you haven't, this is your first episode, go back, check out the other 7 that came before. And I hope you join in. So you can post on Instagram and tag me, hashtag Junk Journal Sketches. You can, I'm in the Facebook group, Junk Journals, Crafts, and More. And I always share the link the day it comes out. So you can feel free to put your creation there in the comments there if you're not on Instagram. And I know Selena's done that. Thank you, Selena, for participating. And yeah, you can email it to me if you want me. If you don't mind me sharing it, let me know, and I'll put it in my community post here on YouTube. I can also share it on Instagram and stuff if you want. But join in, why don't you? All right. Until the next one, everyone. Bye bye.